Hi, I'm Ed Amoroso from Tag Cyber, and I'm here with Greg Taylor, who is the CEO of Sertainty, and also Amir Sternhell, who is the guy in charge of strategy for the company. So it's nice to have you both here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
I want to talk about boards and
Okay.
C-suite, executive leadership. I know you guys both spend a lot of time talking to senior leaders. Greg, I'll start with you. As a CEO, you're talking to senior leaders. Do you find that they uniformly get cybersecurity, or are there times maybe when a board doesn't totally understand the topic?
I think board of directors are becoming more aware that they have to become more knowledgeable about cybersecurity. I mean, they're charged by their shareholders to maximize the value of their data. Data is the new oil today, as you said in one of our conversations. It's the new currency. In doing that, it puts a lot of exposure out there. You typically have to put your data in the open to get maximum value out of it. So that's where we come in. But yes, I believe that boards are, in general, becoming more knowledgeable, that they need to have somebody on that board who is very intelligent in the cybersecurity area. And I think that every senior executive ought to have to take a little course that just kind of gives them the basics of what are we really dealing with when we talk about cybersecurity, because a lot of those folks, they don't hear about cybersecurity unless there's a problem.
I mean, is it possible to train a senior director who's been there a while, maybe didn't grow up with an iPhone in his or her pocket? You wonder if it's even enough just to do a little training. What's been your observation?
Well, I think that if you get too far in the weeds, technically, you lose that audience very, very fast. And, they're quick to say, please, layman's terms. But I think if you keep it simple and into the reality that if you can maximize the value of your data, your company's doing well. If you lose your data, you're at risk of losing brand recognition, or possibly, unfortunately, and I totally disagree with this, you're at risk of losing your job. And I believe we can help prevent a lot of people from losing their job.
Now, Amir, you deal with executives, but also CISOs, like people maybe more in the cybersecurity executive chain. I'm guessing that they understand that not just cybersecurity, but also the importance of data in the context, right? Are they getting better?
They're getting better. There's also a new function called a chief data officer, which kind of complements what a CISO does. The thing with the CISOs mostly is they're a peer. They're somewhat locked into the regulatory environment, which is initiated by NIST, as well as the ISOs. So there's a perspective, they are in a pre-scripted mode in terms of figuring out how to kind of deal with security breaches or deal with attacks and vulnerabilities. It is suboptimal from my perspective. The problem is people at the top, they don't really get that they are effectively giving the CISOs not the tools, they're giving them smaller budgets and letting them kind of fight their way, and they're not really accounting for actual risk. So there's things there that should be mended within the CISO itself, and open up to things as far as really putting innovation in their hands to properly deal with vulnerabilities and what is today the most important actor, which is a state actor, which does most of the bidding.
Do you find that chief data officer role maybe helps the security team reinforce the importance of data, maybe at the senior executive level? Like, do you see CDOs and CSOs working together? Is that something you've seen?
It's still siloed. It is still siloed. The CDO, from his perspective, is what can we do with the data? How can we monetize the data and figure out things along those lines? The CISO is actually counter to that. How do we kind of protect whatever needs to be protected and be less exposed? So there is some sort of a contention there. The problem at the top is that people understand that there is reputation. Obviously, they're accountable. They got to figure out how to bring all the pieces together, and that's not, the jury's still out there in terms of efficiency as far as that.
That monetization goal, I'm going to guess, is something everybody gets across the board. Like, I'm sure boards understand that, hey, when we've got this much data, analytic data or customer data, they should be monetizing it. Do they understand that you can't monetize unless you've got the security down? I would imagine that'd be the way to, maybe it's a way to get to them.
I think that's the challenge, Ed.
Right.
That is the challenge, is to bring that education and understanding that there are technologies, and we're one of them, that, and we think we're the best, obviously, that can help protect that data and give you the maximum ability to monetize the data. Because when you use our technology, or our technology is built into an application, your data is never really totally in the clear. And it's part of the unique invention of what we mean when we say self-protecting, self-aware data.
Yeah, you know, regulatory compliance be another thing I'm
Right.
sure boards get, because they get the letter from the auditor saying, you know,
Right.
here's your punch list of things you messed up on. So that probably drives it a little bit at that C-suite level. As
I
well.
love to say that when people, machines, and applications either forget or make mistakes, our technology doesn't. It's there's an intelligence module that's embedded into that data file, whether it's a picture of your wife, or whether it's a multi-terabyte file that a large Fortune 100 company has to move around the world.
Yeah. Right.
There's intelligence embedded in that file. So it's going to act and react as the owner of the data has instructed it to perform.
Yeah.
Compliance, governance, mitigation, do I self-destruct if I fall in the wrong hands? Or I wake up and I'm in Hong Kong and I'm supposed to be in Los Angeles. Do I phone home if I can connect to the internet, or do I just self-destruct?
Sounds like a bad morning.
It would be a very bad morning.
Well, I want to thank both of you for sharing your insights. I'm sure a lot of people are out there struggling, trying to communicate with boards, and I think your suggestions are very helpful. So I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for
very
having
much.
us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.